Does this look okay? I don't know. Everyone, and welcome to the Board of Commissioners meeting this October 12th, 2021. This morning, I'm pleased that we have Rabbi Larry Cernovitz, who will provide our invocation, followed by the pledge, which will be brought by firefighter Scott McCulloch. For those of you who are willing and able, please stand for our invocation and pledge.
Madam Chairwoman, it's an honor to be here with you. Thank you for the honor once again. And good morning to all of our commissioners and to our county government. Let us pray. Dear friends, this week we've been given the reading of the story of Abraham in Genesis chapter 12 all around the Jewish world. The first lines read, Lech Lecha, go forth to the land that I will show you. Leave all that you know and follow in faith. The power of this verse lies in the first two words, Lech Lecha. It is commonly translated as go forth, but the real meaning is lost in translation. Lech means to go, but Lecha means to you. Dear God, you know that on this journey of life, you ask us to look within ourselves as we travel down the journey of life each and every day. We know you don't want us to conform, but rather to break out of the box of convention, to discover lands we've never imagined, to make this world a place filled with your presence and the love of all human beings. So therefore, God, guardian of life and liberty, may our county always merit your protection. Teach us to give thanks for all we have by sharing it with all in need. Dear God, keep our eyes open to the wonders of creation and alert to the care of the earth. May we never be lazy in the work of peace. May we honor those who have died in defense of our ideals. Grant our leaders here today wisdom and forbearance. May they govern with compassion. Help us all to appreciate one another and to respect the many ways that we may serve you. May our homes be safe from affliction and strife, and our county be sound in body and of spirit. Dear God, may you bless Cobb County, the state of Georgia, and these United States of America. And let us say, Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the
United States of America,
and
to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our meeting is now called to order. As is customary with our 9 a.m. BOC meetings, we will have an update provided by Cobb Douglas Public Health regarding COVID-19.
Good morning. Thanks for having us this morning. Those pumpkins look really lovely in the front. Very cute. Okay, so we'll go ahead and get started with our update this morning. Our numbers are a little bit behind because of the holiday, so we have not gotten the update. So 3 p.m. Will be the big update from the last about 4 days. So we'll go ahead and give the information that we have from last week. We can go ahead and get started. So when we go ahead and take a look at our rates of transmission right now, we'll see a little bit of cycling right now. So we're at about 363 cases per 100,000. Remember, that is still very high. It's over 100 cases per 100,000. This morning, I went ahead and checked the CDC 7-day numbers, and what it's looking like right now is that we have a little bit of a plateau that's come down off of that high peak. And for us, it looks like between 300 and 400 cases per 100,000. That may be some of the activity from fall break, but what it tells me and everybody else is that we have sustained transmission at this point. So cases have not fallen off. So the last 7 days of cases still remain high. So everybody should know that. I know it feels really great to be coming off of this surge, but it is not pushed down all the way yet. So we still have to have some kind of prevention just to bring it down a bit more. Next slide. Our positivity rates, that is really looking much better. So it is 8.1%, which is still over that 5%, but it's less than that 10% number that makes us very concerned. And the CDC has us around 7% with a little bit of change there. So it is coming down, which is great. I think the high for this one was about 12.9, real close to 13%. So things are getting better in that regard. Next slide. Here's where it's a little bit concerning. And so the number of deaths that we have coming in, when you look at numbers across the nation, I think this weekend is a weekend we hit 2,000 deaths in a day. That is very, very high. And so remember, this is the lagging of what we've seen from all of the transmission. So we continue to see deaths that are coming in from all of our hospitals. And so that is our last indicator. So that continues to remain high at this point. But hospitalizations are much better. So I saw hospital numbers and from the weekend and yesterday, and they're much better than they were. And so things are getting better in that regard. Next slide, please. So here's that slide that I showed you. And so this is a very important slide because it gives us an idea of what is happening and what could be brewing. So it's kind of like, you know, when you look at the weather forecast and you see some storms that are brewing in the Atlantic, this is kind of one of our storm guides. And as you remember, you know, when we were battling the B117 variant, we saw that coming down, and we saw this Delta variant start to take on some speed, and then it just overwhelmed everything. And so we have been battling Delta. This is into the third month now that we have been battling the Delta variant. Now, the only good news that we have so far is that we are not seeing a new variant take hold. And so right now, Delta is still 99 point, something percent. So it is really of all the variants that we're seeing. One of the questions that I get asked often is, how does this whole thing, just start and stop? It had a quick peak and it's come down fairly slow. I mean, fairly quickly came down, but now it's kind of hit that little bit of a plateau spot. And so, we have other countries. We watched the UK and we watched India as well. And the transmission, this virus, remember, was at least 60% more transmissible than the initial alpha virus. And so it caught on very, very quick and spread very quickly through every community that it hits. And then, even though our vaccination rates are not the best, we have some decent vaccination rates, especially in our county, and plus the people that had some natural immunity from all the other surges, as well as the people that have unfortunately got infected. And we did have a lot get infected this time. And so, you've all heard the buzz about herd immunity. Well, it kind of burns itself out eventually. It goes through as many people as it can, and then it'll burn out a little bit. And unfortunately, it just kind of keeps us ready for the next thing to come. But hopefully we have really earned ourselves a little bit of a reprieve for a while. Next slide, please. Here's some of the age trends, and this is what is very different about this variant. And so when you look at that over from the other surges and you look at the surge that we had this time, you see that kind of lime green line. That is 11 to 17-year-olds, middle to high schoolers. And so it really took off when the school year kind of started going. And unfortunately, it was kind of the perfect storm. School year starting as well as Delta hitting our community. And so you can see there, and then you can also see that the younger age range as well, and that yellow bar is up there as well. And so so you can see that we had a lot more of our younger folks that were hit. Now, yes, younger people do better with the virus, but remember, they take it home to other people. And that is what we saw kind of time and again for this one. So they just don't live in close. That's why we have to make sure that a lot of the prevention is in place. Next slide. Here's another way to look at it. And so when you look at those trends and numbers, you can see these are for children in particular. That blue bar is the 11 to 17-year-olds. And then you got our, I think it's 5 to 10-year-olds in the green bar, and then even younger. And so you can see how this surge really hit our younger folks as compared to the other surges. And, part of that is because, we had some modified learning previously, and we had some strict measures in place. This time, the measures were much more lax, and many of these children, remember, are not vaccine eligible. And we'll talk a little bit about that, but that they were a very ripe breeding ground for this Delta variant. Next slide, please. Here's once again, when you take a look at the numbers of people that are vaccinated versus unvaccinated. And so on the left side, you can see non-vaccinated folks and how many of those were hospitalized and how many of those ultimately died. And those little circles get smaller and smaller. You can see the flip side on the right of fully vaccinated folks. And you can see that how many were hospitalized and how many ultimately died. And so we continue to see close to about 90% plus people that were hospitalized or died were people that were unvaccinated. And so this variant really took advantage of that this time, unfortunately. Next slide. All right, so here are some of our vaccinations. So for Georgia, we're at 55% that have received one vaccine at least, and the U.S. is at 65% for that. When you look at Cobb is doing a little bit better than that, so that's great. The next slide, we will see that we're at about 60% for first vaccinations and 55% fully vaccinated. So I think that really did help us a bit in this one, and we really look forward to when the next vaccines will be approved. Next slide. And here you can see with the age ranges, different age ranges and which ones were affected. So we did see some vaccination rates that increased from the last time, about 1.8 to 3.8. So, and we saw that our younger folks came in and got vaccinated. So that was really great to see, because we did see a lot of that age range get hospitalized this time, because the virus needed somewhere to go to be able to survive. Next slide. And so here's a breakdown when you look at Georgia versus Cobb County. And so we are doing better in many respects when we look at different breakdowns. And so you can see in African Americans and in the white population, we did a little bit better. And let's see, this is extremely small, but we are definitely doing better in many respects. One of the areas that we continue to work on is trying to reach our Hispanic population. And Lisa and I will be meeting this week with an organization that may help us to do that. But we continue our outreach efforts to get out to these folks and continue to have different ways to reach people to make sure they get the message and have access to vaccines. Next slide, please. All right, so for booster, we got booster shots and third doses. So let's talk about third doses first. I think I've mentioned it in the past. For Moderna and Pfizer, if you are immunocompromised, have a history of cancer or have cancer and on chemotherapy, or had any kind of transplant or have HIV/AIDS, you can get that the third dose vaccine of Moderna or Pfizer, and that is the emergency use authorization approved one. You can do that soon after you get your second dose. Now, the booster is an additional dosage, and that one was approved for the Pfizer vaccine. This is for people 65 and older, and then if you have certain medical conditions, chronic medical conditions like lung disease and diabetes that puts you at risk, but also if you work in or live in high-risk settings. So if you live in or work in nursing homes or hospitals where you can potentially get the virus contracted or pass it on, you can get that vaccine as well. And so it's important. We are seeing some decreased immunity that people have over time. Now, the important thing is that, you're still protected against hospitalization and from death, right? But it is giving you a little bit of a booster for your immunity. Next slide. All right, just reminding you of where we have our vaccine sites. So our health centers are available for you to come and get vaccinated. And we do have all the vaccines that are available. And then we have more with the next slide. We have our core locations. This changes every week, and so we're grateful that we have them as our partners, but they will go to the Epicenter and the mall. And Epicenter just started, I think it was early last week, right, Lisa? So we're very excited to have a presence there in South Cobb, and so please come visit if you can. Next slide.
Dr. Memark, just one point. We have been doing regularly ongoing at the epicenter for vaccinations. What started last week was testing as well down at epicenter.
Oh, thank you. So you can check that out. And here's some outreach events, and we're working on some more in anticipation of children being approved for the Pfizer vaccine. So you can go to different locations that may be close to you. West Cobb is, the library is close to me, and some different churches and courthouses and community centers. So you can definitely go and check out, there's somewhere closer to you to get your vaccine. Next slide. This is a great piece of information. We want to make sure everybody still understands that, if you have difficulty getting someone to a vaccine site or getting them vaccinated, we still have at-home COVID vaccines that we can send. One of our partners, Pools Pharmacy and Premier Pharmacy as well, can go and give you a vaccine at your home. You can also get free Lyft rides too to one of our vaccine sites if you need to get, if you just have transportation issues. So please take advantage of a lot of these things that will help you to get vaccinated. And here's a website information on the side that you can sign up for. Next slide. And then we still have testing, and we have more sites of testing. Is very important because I'm hearing the federal mandates will be coming through soon. And so people will have to get proof of vaccination. These are the PCR tests, the gold standards that are being done at these locations. Right now, turnover is very, very quick. So it's great. Within 2 days, I'm hearing people are getting their results back. And remember, these are free, and so they're paid by the federal government. So it's really important that to know that distinction, because I know it can rack up if you have to get a bunch of tests done. So it's nice to have these locations accessible. Next slide. All right, so we have some stuff on the horizon. So today's the 12th. On the 14th, the FDA is going to meet to discuss emergency use authorization for boosters for Moderna and Johnson & Johnson. And that'll be discussed for those 18 and older. So we're awaiting that. And then on the 26th, this is the big news that I can't wait to have is the emergency use authorization for Pfizer for children 5 to 11. What we know so far is that the dose is actually smaller, and the children did exceptionally well getting this vaccine. And, for those of you that are concerned about the speed and things like that, these vaccines have been developed the same way other vaccines and medications have been. There's nothing that has been skipped in reviewing these vaccinations by the FDA. The only thing that was taken away was the barriers and the bureaucracy. And so I'm very excited. I have an 11-year-old, and so he is ready to go to get this vaccine. So we're all looking forward to it. All right, next slide. I think we're about done here. Here's our takeaways. Vaccines, man, they helped us tremendously through this. So this last surge showed the power of getting vaccinated, because we saw that those folks, by and large, were protected from hospitalization and death. So very important. We at Cobb and Douglas Public Health are preparing to vaccinate children and also the boosters that are coming out. And so this gets a little complicated because we're going to have 3 different vaccines at different doses and at different time schedules. And so we're getting ready for that. Outreach teams are still there to help with vaccination. So please, if you need them to come out, we ask that, you have at least like 20 folks that we can go ahead and vaccinate, then we'll send a whole team out to you to do that. We're trying to make things accessible, especially if you have disabilities or limited transportation. So we can definitely send somebody out if you need to get vaccinated. So we're doing better. We're hoping to come off this surge. I hope we get some good news. I really would like us to be, pushed right back down to the 100 range like we were previously. But, we still have 40% of our county that is still not vaccinated. And so, that kind of leaves us vulnerable for next surges. So, we at Cobb and Douglas continue to watch this, but encourage everybody, please get vaccinated if you can. So I will end there and take any questions if anybody has. And Lisa, do you have anything to add?
Dr. Memark, I just wanted to add, we're getting quite a few questions from residents about replacement vaccination cards. And I just wanted to mention on this call that folks can go to our website, cobbanddouglaspublichealth.org, and push on vaccine information. And then there's a button that says replacement card. we'll just ask them to fill out a very quick release of information, and we'll go into their GRITS record and create a new vaccination card for them at no charge.
Great.
Great. Well, thank you both, Dr. Memark and Lisa, for that presentation today and for all the information that you've shared so that we can be mindful of where we are with respect to transmission rates and also know how we can get more people vaccinated. Do commissioners have any questions? I have a question. For the vaccinations coming out for those 5 to 11, I presume they will be able to go to one of the Cobb Douglas public health sites where you already have vaccinations and
Yes, so
receive one there. Okay, great.
yes, you can do that, but you can also go to those places that give Pfizer. We already have spoken with our partners, and if they give Pfizer, they are prepared to also do children as well. And so, I just want to make sure that we're not the only folks because a lot of people are able to do it as well. So it's good to spread it out.
Now, I'm sure that you know that this is probably one of the most challenging times to be in the healthcare profession. And there's already been a lot that we have asked of Cobb and Douglas Public Health, and you've always showed up and gone above and beyond for us locally. But I'm glad to share with you that you've also been recognized nationally in successfully completing a rigorous review to maintain your national accreditation. And so I wanted to acknowledge that accomplishment in front of everyone here because of your attainment of that commendation. You're helping to make Cobb County a healthier place for everybody to live and work and play. And you continue to set a very high bar for how we deliver services here. So again, Dr. Memark, Lisa Crossman, congratulations to you and your team, and thank you for all that you do for us day in and day out. Thank you. All right, have a great afternoon.
I have a question.
Thank you. Take care.
Excuse me, sir, that's out of order. This is not how we conduct our meetings. Excuse me, sir, you're being out of order. Please, sir, you're out of order. If I have to, excuse me, if I can have an officer, please excuse this gentleman out of the room because I will not continue to be interrupted. This is completely inappropriate.
She is in charge of the county's health. She didn't mention it once. It's terrible, y'all. She has a lot of authority. She should disclose
We'll go ahead and take a 5-minute recess. Thank you.
public information.
We'll go ahead and take a 5-minute recess. Thank you. Thank you. We are now resuming our Cobb County Board of Commissioners meeting this October 12th. We've just received an update from Cobb Douglas Public Health, and we now have a series of presentations which will be provided by commissioners to various persons in our community. Commissioners, I would like to ask for your support for us to move up the proclamation to LGE Credit Union, as their leadership is here and needs to leave early, if everyone's okay with that. Everyone okay? Good. All right, if I can have those with LGE, please join me up front. I'm grateful that you're here today. We can line up in front of this decorative space up here.
We love it.
Yes, it's quite festive. I'm grateful to be able to recognize LGE for their contributions to Cobb County and the metro area this morning. Whereas Lockheed Georgia Employees Federal Credit Union was chartered by a small group of Lockheed employees in 1951, they began the operation out of the basement of the Lockheed plant in the credit union, which had 1,515 members by the end of its first year. And whereas 20 years later, LGE Credit Union expanded its field of membership beyond Lockheed. It was during this period that the credit union was able to bring a smarter way of banking to more members. And whereas LGE Credit Union continued to build its business through smart banking practices and providing great customer services to its members, by its 50th anniversary in 2001, it grew from 1,500 members to 84,000 members strong. In 2008, LGE was chartered by the state and became LGE Community Credit Union. This change meant anyone who lives or works within the counties LGE serves is eligible to apply for membership. LGE Credit Union now serves more than 118,000 members in 5 metro counties, including Cobb, Cherokee, Paulding, Fulton, and Bartow. Now, therefore, we, the Cobb County Board of Commissioners, congratulate you on your 70th anniversary. We wish you continued success as you continue to serve our community. This, the 12th day of October, 2021. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Does anybody want to share?
That's Chris. This is our president and CEO.
Chris, would you like to share any words?
Sure, thank you. Thank you very much for this recognition. We at LGE Community Credit Union are grateful that we've been able to serve this community for over 70 years now, and we look forward to the next 70. Thank you.
Thank you. And
Thank
you want to
you.
introduce who's with you?
Sure, I have one of our board of directors, Barry Jones, with us today, and my name's Chris Leggett. I'm the president and CEO. Cassie Condra, who's our senior community relations specialist, and Vicki Agajani, who is our director of business development community relations.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We're going to line up here. I'm going to grab a picture.
All right, smile with your eyes. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate you
Thank
being here.
you.
Congratulations again. Thank you, Chris. You're welcome. Good to see you. Thanks for being here. All right, Commissioner Burrow will be providing our next 2 presentations.
Good morning, everyone. Is the Diaper Day Committee here? Could you come up, please? Good morning. I have the honor today of presenting a proclamation to the Diaper Day Committee. I was on the first committee in 2009 that was founded by our dear friend Barbara Hickey. And today we have Nerdon Cornelius with Cobb EMC, but the chair, I guess, of the Diaper Day Committee and the Barbara Hickey Foundation. Jim Hickey, Barbara's husband. Jennifer Lynch from the...
Diaper Day. Oh, I'm a wedding event planner. So.
Yeah, okay. You used to be with... Yeah, okay, so, sorry. And they're here to accept this proclamation. So, whereas Barbara Hickey founded Cobb Diaper Day, in 2009, she launched a community-wide collection of diapers and led the Diaper Day committee that advertised Diaper Day, picked up diapers from local businesses, and held a donation drive in Glover Park. Each year, upwards of 100,000 diapers were donated. And whereas in Barbara's memory and in honor of her compassion, the Diaper Day Committee will spearhead the 13th annual Diaper Day to collect diapers for low-income families throughout the months of September and October. And whereas in these tough economic times, securing the most basic of needs is a challenge for many families. Low-income families sometimes must choose between food and diapers, because the average cost of diapers is about $100 per month, and food stamps do not include hygiene products such as diapers. And whereas daycare centers require parents to provide their own diapers, and local nonprofit organizations can only dispense diapers to their clients 4 times a year due to the lack of resources. And whereas all diaper donations will be given to the Cobb Douglas Public Health Teen Pregnancy Program, communities and schools of Georgia, in Marietta and Cobb County, Live Safe Resources, Must Ministries, Sur Familia, Simple Needs Georgia, South Cobb United, Sweetwater Mission, and the Center for Family Resources for distribution to help ease some of the burdens of the thousands of families in critical need. In the last 12 years, over 1 million diapers have been donated. Now, therefore, we, the Cobb County Board of Commissioners, do hereby honor the efforts of the Diaper Day Committee and urge the business community, concerned residents, and nonprofit organizations to collect diapers to help hundreds of local families and children. This is the 12th day of October, 2021. So, who wants to tell us how they can donate through tomorrow?
Oh, absolutely. We are going to have a Diaper Day collection at the Cobb EMC's Solar Garden. We love to see you with a box of your diapers. And there's going to be a big discount at Costco. They're charging you less than $10 less. And also, you can go to our Facebook page and donate it from there too. And you can order it from Amazon. And not only kids, but believe it or not, we need adult diapers too. That's a huge need in our senior community. So please, if you can do that, please do that through the Amazon. Or I will be at the Cobb EMC Solar Garden, 8 in the morning till 4 in the afternoon tomorrow. And also 27th of October in the afternoon, if you would like to come in and deliver it. Thank you so much. Jennifer?
I'm good. Thank you.
Thank you. Now we need a picture.
Trust me, I'm smiling.
Yeah, we're smiling. And we're good, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
You want to take that?
Thank you so much.
I love doing it. Thank you so much.
Okay, I have the next one. Now I have the exciting event of introducing the public to the district attorney's new canine, Rose. Here she comes. I love the canine. Yay. What a beauty. This is so exciting. I know this has been a long day coming for y'all to get a comfort dog for the DA's office for victims of crime. So I'm just going to say welcome, Rose, to Cobb County. She's a 3-year-old lab, and she's gorgeous. So, but she's a hard worker too, I'm sure. So Angela is her handler, and you know our district attorney, Flynn Brody, Cindy Yeager, Kim, Dina, and John. So I'm going to let them tell you a little bit about Rose, and then we're going to get some pictures.
Commissioner Burrow, we thank you for the inspiration for us to get Rose. Rose is going to do several things for our office. Her first and foremost job is to provide minimizing of anxiety for our victims of trauma that come to our office. Because the worst thing that can happen for any victim of trauma is to have to constantly replay that trauma to other folks. And Rose will be that person that provides a level of love that they need to be able to expand and tell their story and help us to reduce crime here in Cobb County. So we're thankful for Rose and for what she's going to do for our office, because she helps us too. You know, Rose pays a visit to everybody in the office each day. So we're thankful for Rose and the work that she's going to do to help out our children and our victims of crime tell their stories. So thank you, Rose.
And I forgot to mention, Rose was inspired by the Northeast Cobb Business Association, which has a 5 canine race every year and donates money for a service dog or comfort dog for police, sheriff, district attorney, Safe Path in the schools. So actually, the Forsyth County Sheriff's Office trained Rose and the inmates and partnered with a local dog training, Rucker training, dog training, and this is Rose, the end result product. So we're thankful for Forsyth County Jail and Sheriff for helping out too. And we look forward to seeing her again. So thank you. I'm going to get down. Look how she's crossed.
Rose is too hyper.
True lady. Oh, no.
Sit up, Rose.
Sit up.
PG 13.
She's still in training.
Aww.
All right, here we go. 3. We got one more. Thank you.
Very nice.
A gift for each of you. So Rose has her own crayons and her own coloring book and her own challenge book.
Oh, wow.
And so we hand those out to children in the community for public safety information and crime prevention information. So we have these little gift bags for each of you commissioners and chairwoman as well.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
How cute. Okay, Cobb County PD Canine Unit. We have calling cards for our dogs.
Thank you.
Bye.
Now, there is one more presentation that I hate has to follow Rose, but we're going to do our best. For those here with IS, please join me up front. Whole crew. Pardon? We got a big crew. Oh, okay. I hope they're not afraid of dogs. Hello, everybody. It's cold in here, isn't it? How are you doing? I know. Hello. Yep. Matter of fact, we'll probably just even come here so they can all. Yep. Come here. We have a crew here today.
Really?
Anyone here in property management who sees people with their arms folded? Commissioners aren't the only ones that get chilly up here, too. They keep this room a little cool. What's also cool today is we have opportunity to recognize another accomplishment of our employees, and I'm grateful for having all of you here today because sometimes we don't get to see you. We work on our computers, we go into our spaces, and we presume that everything is supposed to function as is. But today we have opportunity to see that there are a lot of people working behind the scenes to keep us going every day. And so I'm grateful that all of you are able to come down here. The Center for Digital Government and the National Association of Counties conducts an annual digital county survey to recognize and identify the best technology practices among counties in the U.S. This includes streamlining delivery of government services, open data collaboration, and enhancing cybersecurity. Our own Cobb County Information Services was ranked in the top 10 nationwide for counties with a population over 500,000 to 1 million, and was cited for their dedication to transparency, cybersecurity improvements, and for providing COVID-19 community information hub for citizens. Our NACO Executive Director, Matthew Chase, stated, "The coronavirus pandemic underscored the urgent need for bold, cutting-edge approaches to serve our residents, and technology helped to play a major role. This year's Digital County Survey winners have demonstrated true leadership when it was needed the most. We applaud you for your innovation and expertise in leveraging technology to achieve our county's goals. Thank you so much for all that you do, and particularly during this time." Yeah. So this is your award that you're receiving. I don't know if you want to share any words.
Yes, I just want to thank you, Chairwoman and Commissioners, for recognizing us for this award. And thank you for your continued support of all of our technology initiatives. And this is about half of our amazing team that we have. I just want to say thank you for everything that you do. You're amazing. You have great ideas, innovative solutions when there's problems. And thank you for keeping us and keeping all of our county employees going. So thank you for everything.
Thank you. Appreciate it. And so we'll take a picture. I was going to say just thank you for your patience. Thank you for your endurance, seriously, during this time, but in dealing with us as we're learning new technology. Thank you, honestly.
I didn't bring my drone, so I don't know what we're going to do here. Almost there. There we go. All right, here we go. Yep, please. 3, 2, hang on, one more. Thank you.
Madam Chair.
Yes, ma'am.
This is what I call cybersecurity.
Yes, indeed. All right, next up, we are moving on to our public hearings. Our public hearing for today is to conduct a public hearing to kick off the process to update the county's 2040 comprehensive plan. And bringing that before us is Jessica Gwynn, our Community Development Director.
Good morning, everyone. Jessica Gwynn, Cobb County Community Development. As you'll recall, a couple of months ago, we had the opportunity to do a work session presentation for the Board of Commissioners. And as part of that, we updated you or gave you sort of the framework for how the comprehensive plan 5-year update would move forward. This is state mandated 5-year update to our comprehensive plan is something that we are required to do in order to maintain our certified local government. And also this first public hearing, this kickoff to publicly announce that this is moving forward is another requirement. So this morning I'm going to ask Philip Westbrook to come up and to speak to the plan, and he's going to give you an abbreviated presentation from what you saw before, but he'll be our project manager on this. So after this is over, we would just ask, Madam Chair, that you open the public hearing, and of course we're glad to answer any questions of the commission.
Great, thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you, Jessica. As she said, I'm Philip Westbrook, planner, community development, and project manager on this 5-year update. This update is part of our normal maintenance schedule that actually was set up by the state of Georgia's Department of Community Affairs that requires us to update our comprehensive plan every 5 years. The purpose of this presentation is to inform the community about what we're doing, the process on the update, and allow them an opportunity to comment at the conclusion of this presentation. Before I get into the heart of the presentation, I do want to brief you on a brief history of the planning in the state. The Georgia Planning Act established was established in 1989 and provides the foundation for community and regional planning in the state. It also gave local governments the power to plan, and it gave the Department of Community Affairs the authority to oversee a planning process. So what DCA did with that authority was they set some guidelines, some minimum standards and procedures on how to guide local comprehensive planning. Mainly what they did was they put in the standards to ensure that the plan illustrates the desires of the community, provides details on the required components of the plan, and establishes procedures on how to create, maintain, and adopt a plan. And the maintenance part is one of the reasons why we are here today. Qualified local government, this is basically the state of Georgia incentivizes local governments to carry out local comprehensive plans by allowing them to become qualified local governments or carry a QLG status. Essentially what this does is it allows the government to participate in certain programs, loan and grant programs, some of which are the CDBG, the Home Investment Partnership Program, bond allocation programs, and a whole host of other loan and grant programs that is critical to the operations of the county. To become a qualified local government, of course, you have to carry out a comprehensive planning effort, adopt a plan, and maintain that plan based on DCA's standards. Currently, Cobb County is in compliant with the QLG status and will be up until October 31st of next year. And for us to extend that another 5 years, we need to carry out this update process. So before we get into the process, I do want to make sure that we're all on the same page as far as what the 2040 Comprehensive Plan is, what it entails. It is essentially a long-term plan that provides an overarching vision and a desired growth strategy for the community. It contains a set of needs that was determined by the community itself through community engagement, and those needs are directly correlated to the goals and policies that are in the plan that are used as policy guidance and provide expectations for elected officials, for the community, developers, anyone interested in the comprehensive plan. And of course, there is a 5-year work program which is essentially action items, specific projects that are in the plan that go out 5 years, are also to help see the vision through, are part of that plan as well. And of course, it is a decision-making tool, as you all are aware, as far as, especially when it comes to zoning matters and our future land use map. One thing that it is not a regulating plan. It is not a regulating code. Again, it is merely a policy guide to help move Cobb in the right direction based on community's desires. Okay, so now we'll get into the process and what that is going to entail. Pretty much our focus will primarily be on getting out into the community to determine if the existing needs are still relevant today. We will also be carrying out a report of accomplishments on our current 5-year plan, or I'm sorry, on our current 5-year community work program. That report of accomplishments is essentially a status report on the existing work program, and then we will be creating a new work program to take us out another 5 years. In 2017, the state of Georgia passed, I believe it was the ACE Act, and that requires all jurisdictions to have a broadband element in their comprehensive plan, so we'll be looking to include the broadband element, and in fact, we'll be working with IS on that as well. And as our normal annual procedures, we'll carry out our land use element update, as well as a future land use map update. And then, as you all know, our Department of Transportation is finishing up the Comprehensive Transportation Plan. So we'll be incorporating aspects of that plan into the 2040 plan. And I put in here goals and policies if needed. If we have any needs that have drastically changed that do not meet any of the current goals and policies, then we'll be revising those as well. Okay, now this is a slide kind of showing the series of events and phases that have to happen for us to get this adopted. Today we are at our public hearing number 1. Our next, as we finish up here today, we'll be transitioning to our plan development phase, this is where most of our work will take place. The large majority of this work will be in community engagement. Once we have drafted a plan, we will carry out our second public hearing where we will inform the community about the draft and also inform them when we plan to submit the plan to Atlanta Regional Commission and the Department of Community Affairs, who will review the plan based on the minimum, whether we met the minimum standards. Not necessarily the content, based on whether we've gone through the right procedures and we've carried out a community engagement plan and so forth. And these public hearings as well. They will review it and provide a report of findings, and if we have a good report, then we can move on with adoption. If we have not met those standards, then we'll just go through the same, revise, resubmit, and go through the process again. Not the entire process, but just what needs to be revised. Again, this is just a display of our timeline, again, showing that we are in the initial phases, October, November. We'll be transitioning to the plan development phase, and then looking at our second public hearing in March, with the plan review being toward the end, or toward spring and summer of next year. No matter what happens, we've got to have this plan updated for us to, by October 31st, for us to carry on our 5-year, our QLG status. Okay, getting into the community engagement portion of this, it's critical that the public, that we invite the public to participate in this update. This will revolve around 2 groups, a stakeholder committee and the public. The stakeholder committee should be made up and will be made up of a diverse group of key citizens that will be able to provide valuable input and needs into the update. They will also be a driving force in the community by getting the word out about the project and how the community can get involved. We do plan to have 2 stakeholder committee meetings, as well as one-on-one interviews with each of the members. The public will also be an important asset to the process. They will be invited to partake in workshops, surveys, interactive applications, and they will be critical again to the process, because as we know, an informed and engaged community is one that has a sense of pride in the community and has a sense of ownership of the plan. And to make all this community engagement happen, we've sort of sectored out these 3 components. You can really think about these as community engagement principles and how we plan to get the word out and get the feedback that we need. We're looking at outreach, education, and collaboration. The outreach is essentially letting the folks know about the plan and how they can get involved. And there's tools that we use to make that happen. Education is not only getting the word out, but also educating the community on the facts of the county. This can be sort of the existing conditions report and so forth. Also the technical education, especially in this day and time with the opportunities to have interactive applications. The community needs to be educated on how to operate those. So there's an education portion of this community outreach, or community engagement, that will take shape. And this really puts everyone on common ground to help share that common vision that we're looking for. And then collaboration, which is the interactive exchange of ideas between the community and the county. This is the county seeking advice, seeking desires and ideas and issues from the community so that we can all sort of guide that path forward for the county. And this here is a slide shows our community meetings. We do have 4 in-person meetings. We will be trying to make sure that there's a virtual option for these 4 in-person meetings. It's 1 meeting per district. We do plan to have a virtual meeting. It's yet to be determined. And then we a centrally located open house at the end of our community engagement phase. And this information will be on our project website. And this is our project website, cobbcounty.org/comp-plan. And of course, there's a QR code there you can scan. But all the information about our update process will be there. As we move through the process, it'll become more populated. It'll also be our portal into our interactive applications. There will be surveys, there will be mapping applications, and we are going to make sure that there are instructions on how to operate those applications. And there's also a link already on there now that anyone that is welcome to click on the link, add their name, their email address, and they will be reminded of any coming up meetings, updates to the plan, and there's even I think an area where you can comment as well. So with that, that concludes the presentation, and we look forward to working with the county on moving this county forward with our comp plan, and thank you very much.
Great, thank you, Philip, appreciate that. With that, we'll begin our public hearing, and for those who are going to speak, note that we have an unlimited number of speakers that are able to speak during the public hearing for a maximum of 3 minutes pertaining to this topic solely. Yes, please.
Hello, I'm Jan Barton. I'm here today to talk to you about the 2040 Comprehensive Plan combined with the recent proposed change to our present zoning code to go to high density. Numerous articles have pointed out that there is a war on the suburbs and single-family homes with the current administration's HUD affirmatively furthering fair housing. Some HUD-related grants are on today's agenda. We are seeing proposals from some of the commissioners that indicate a very unpopular move toward dense development by enacting policies that push urban rather than suburban development. Some of the commissioners introduced the proposal for creating new Unified Development Code, or Unicode, like that used in Atlanta and other dense cities at the last board meeting. The board's recent approval of Prestwick Company's zoning Z28 on Floyd Road in Mableton serves as an example of some of the commissioners approving high-density zoning in an existing plan that is supposed to be low density. It was approved for almost 25 units per acre in what is now a low density area. People buy homes with one understanding that they are moving into a neighborhood of single-family homes only to find out that the commissioners on a whim can change that overnight into high density. This might be considered allegedly illegal, if not illegal, at least unethical. Will the 2040 plan attempt to legalize such actions retroactively? I hope not. Currently, there is another zoning that is pending at the corner of Shallowford and Johnson Ferry near Walmart, Z72-2020 for North Point Ministries. It's an intense development that is too dense for the area of single-family homes. The area is already prone to flooding, and flooding is a major concern. Flooding has become more and more of a problem in Cobb due to placing dense developments where low density is required. The area near the Braves Stadium, Johnson Ferry, Collins Drive, and Marietta recently experienced severe flooding. Please don't make them worse. We're asking you not to change our zoning to a new cookie-cutter unified development ordinance, not to change the comprehensive plan to dense development, not to sign contracts for HUD grants with giant strings attached. Thanks for your time.
Thank you. We'll have our next speaker.
All right. I've seen, in part of this plan is to get community input and make sure that this reflects the desires of the community at all. Now, I've attended some of these outreach things before, and they've instead of, in my opinion, getting community input, they present options for the community to pick. And I've attended a transportation town hall, I guess, or workshop, maybe, whatever you want to call it. And there were only they presented a series of options for us to pick, and nobody in that room wanted any of those options. But there wasn't a we don't want this or we want something else option. It was pick one of these options. And I attended something a few weeks later, and it all shows up as, this is what people want, but there's no I don't want this option. So you're not capturing what people really want when you operate that way. I hope you don't do that in the future. And I think that there needs to be more communication besides what I've seen up and presented here to get to the public. I don't think you're going to reach a lot of people, that aren't very active and may not realize the importance of this plan with what you've shown in the communication methods. And I think that that there needs to be some thought about other ways to reach people. Because right now, I doubt very many people in Cobb County even know there's a 2040 plan, understand what it is, and understand how important it is. And that's something we need to change. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Christine Rosman. Thank you, Chairwoman Cupid. I also am in agreement regarding this 2040 comprehensive plan, which will direct future zoning and development decisions in Cobb County. We urge you to be extra diligent to not insert UDC, high-density plans, into our residential suburban communities, and ask for a transparent means of reviewing the plan and an easy way for citizens to provide input. It sounded very nice about being very inclusive. I don't know, like Mr. Wright just said, if citizens realize that this is upon them. And so I think that to really let them know what the plan is, they really need to know that it's available for them to understand it. And but the thing is that a lot of us moved to Cobb County. I used to live in Fulton. I used to like that hip urban life. I don't anymore. I'm older, and it doesn't even matter about my age. I know there are a lot of young couples that they want to have a yard for their kids to play in. They don't necessarily want to have a big in a high density area where there's just one little park and they have to stand in line to wait for their kid to have their 5 minutes on the swing set. So it's not conducive to everybody. And there's a reason why people move to Cobb and not, I talked to many people in the community over the weekend. I went to Oktoberfest and I went up to Ackworth and for their taste of Ackworth. And what I found was I was talking to people and I said, "Oh, do you live in Cobb?" No, I left. I wanted to get more suburban, more rural, moved to Bartow, moved to Cherokee, moved to Paulding. And so they didn't say, "Oh yeah, I moved to Gwinnett," or "I moved to," it's because it is a preference that people have. It's a preference of when you make a huge, probably your biggest investment ever into a house, and you have an expectation that this is what my community is going to look like from now moving forward. And then it's not like for now, and then 2 years later, there's a big high rise, and then all this other stuff. We're people that like to plan. We're all people that like to plan. Because I used to be into that, like, oh, hey, fun, high density. That's not me anymore, and I think that says a lot about people that Cobb County, they like the suburbs, not so much the urban life. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning. Good morning, Commissioners. Good morning, Chairwoman. My name is Pamela Reardon, and I agree with the first three speakers. I would like the gentleman to actually state what the minimum requirements are in this plan and where we're not going to meet them in the year's time, because I think I heard him say in 1 year, this plan is going to be obsolete that we have right now. So I want to know what the minimum requirements are. I want to know where we're not going to meet those, and I want to know why. I mean, as you have heard, and all of us live in Cobb County for a reason. I like my yard. I live in a half an acre in the middle of near Walton School. And I don't want to give that up. I don't want them to come into my neighborhood, which is an older neighborhood, and knock down those houses and put up high density. I'm close to the development across from Walmart. I have sold real estate in that division, in that subdivision across the street the other way on Shallowford. And I know that there's flooding in there. And that used to be a lake. That was a lake that was drained a couple years ago, 3 years ago. And you can't tell me that there's not going to be flooding there. I've looked at those units and how close they're going to be. Let's get real on this zoning. Let's stop it. No more high density. Let's preserve Cobb County for what it is and why we all live here and we love it here. And I just want to see those requirements, those minimum requirements, and understand why we have to change them. I haven't seen a need for any changing. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Are there any other speakers? Are there any additional speakers? All right, I'll declare this public hearing closed. Before we end this agenda item, yes, if anybody has any questions from the Board of Commissioners, we'll go ahead and take those now. Do commissioners have any questions for Director Gwynn? Commissioner Gambrill.
Jessica, I know we're going to have one public hearing before we submit it. By chance, could we have a second one? Because I know in the 2040, when I sat on that committee, we found some errors in the 2040, and it had been submitted, and then it never got changed before it was finally adopted. So is there a chance, because again, the residents don't have a chance to really give their input, the board to consider it and make the modifications because we've already submitted the plan for approval. So is there a way to work in another public hearing portion of it so that way we can hear the public's feedback before we submit the document?
Yes, ma'am, absolutely. Now with just for clarification, I want to be sure that everyone is aware that part of the requirements is also that we make the documents publicly available before they're submitted. So whether you come to the public hearing or not, they're made publicly available. They'll be on the website. You can go view a hard copy and we'll advertise that where that's available. So we'll also take comment that way without people coming to the public hearing. But we can certainly work in another public hearing. We'll also be doing some meetings with the Planning Commission, so that'll be an additional opportunity for the public to come out and publicly participate and give feedback into that process.
Okay, and then I noticed that mine is the first to go and it's on December 16th, which is a very busy time for families with school getting out, with it going into the holiday season. I didn't catch the rest of the dates. Were the rest of the dates scheduled in January?
The remainder of the dates are after the holidays, and if you would like, we can certainly look at maybe shifting that initial December meeting out till January as well. We'll look at the calendar. One thing I'd also like to emphasize is that the meetings, although they're being held in each district, they're not necessarily district specific, so people can come to any of the meetings. The expectation is that most likely the people who come to the District 1 meeting, for instance, would be residents of West Cobb for the most part, but if someone, that was the night that worked for someone's schedule and they lived over in East Cobb, they could certainly come and give input into that process as well. But if you would like, we would certainly be glad to take a look at maybe moving that December meeting out to after the holidays.
Okay, and then as far as the meeting that's going to be held via Zoom that anybody can see, I know there's a lot of questions as far as if a meeting is held via Zoom, how can folks ask questions? Who should they ask questions to and then get answers to those questions?
Yes, it'll be set up very similarly to some of the virtual town halls that some of the commissioners had this year, and I know I participated in one that the chair had. It'll be very similar. It'll be set up as a WebEx event. People will be able to type their questions into the chat box, and we'll have a moderator who then is asking those questions, so that way we can get that feedback. And of course, we'll also have it recorded, so it'll be publicly available afterwards.
Right, so I guess it's the recorded version that if people go back and it's not live, it's the recorded version. How can they then ask questions and get those questions answered?
They can always send our office an email or give us a call. There's going to be on the website, the project website will have that information on. You know, some people can't participate in a public meeting, and the gentleman made a great point about Mr. Wright that, you know, we want to be sure that we're reaching everyone, and some people just realistically can't or won't. They don't have the time. They're not interested in participating in a public meeting. So we're going to have on the website the ways, you know, that people can contact us, that they can provide their feedback. We're also looking at doing some online surveying and those sorts of things to give people an opportunity to participate when and where they're available.
Thank you, Commissioner. Yes, Commissioner Ball.
Thank you. Jessica, or maybe Phil, when will the stakeholder meetings start, and what will be their role as far as actually taking it back to their HOAs or businesses?
That's a great question, Commissioner Burrow, and we received your recommendations for the stakeholder committee. I appreciate you sending those and look forward to hearing from the rest of you. Once we have those names for the stakeholder committee, we'll go ahead and convene that group. They'll have their first meeting before we start these community meetings. So essentially, with the stakeholder group, it's sort of that initial sounding board for us to go say, this is how we're moving forward, this is what we're presenting at the next public meeting, to take feedback from them and to make sure that we're presenting it in a way to the public and offering the right opportunities for people to participate, and then also the stakeholders, and as you all are thinking about your stakeholders, we really do look to them to sort of be the champions for the plan, to help get out there and let their neighborhoods know, let their HOAs know that this is happening, that it is, as Mr. Wright said, a very important project for the county, and it's important for them to be engaged. So that's how we'll really be utilizing that stakeholder group, as both as a sounding board, sort of bounce ideas off them, hear their feedback. Also, our stakeholders a lot of times are some of our real very engaged folks in the community and business and residents. So we want to be sure that we're doing those individual interviews with them and just using them to help us get additional support from the community and feedback. Did you have something you want to add, Phil?
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure the interviews will take place before the community meetings as well with the stakeholders.
Any other questions or comments from commissioners? I know this is a significant process we go through every 5 years here in the county, and I appreciate the robust ways that you're planning on reaching out to the community. I saw the slide with all of the various points of interaction, and that's always important. We encourage everyone to please get involved because this does help to determine the future land use of the community that you're in. And a lot of the zoning and land use decisions do look at this as a guide. It's not something that's dispositive, but it is a guide for how we develop. So for those of you who are here who are worried about how people know about this, please tell your neighbors, please share this, because even though we can share information from our ends, one of the best, most influential ways people get involved in something is by hearing it from someone that they know and trust. With that, thank you, and we look forward to having a good update of this comprehensive plan.
Thank you all. We look forward to working with you.
All right, the next portion of our meeting is public comment.
Chairwoman, there are 6 speakers that have signed up for the first portion of the meeting. If I may, as the board provides the podium for public comment, it's appropriate for us to review the meeting rules at this time. When you come up forward, please state your name and address, and if you're speaking on behalf of an organization. All comments should be addressed through the chair. Public comment is not a dialogue with the board, but an opportunity for the speakers to provide their comments to the board. Also, the rules say that you should not speak in impertinent, derogatory, offensive, or slanderous way. To that end, the board encourages, regardless of the topic, for the audience to be respectful and courteous to the speakers. Everyone attending this meeting should give others the right to both listen and to be treated with civility. Of course, statements made during the public comments portion do not necessarily reflect the opinions of the board or the administration of Cobb County. And there is a timer on the podium for you to be able to track your 5-minute speaking time. With that being said, the first speaker is Hill Wright.
And just want to clarify, the speaker does need to state their name. They don't necessarily need to provide their address, as long as their address is written on the form where they signed up. Yeah.
Okay, my name is Hill Wright. I'm here to speak on behalf of the Cobb September 7th Storm Damage Advocacy Group. We need leadership that is proactive when disasters strike, not reactive, and not uninformed about what happened for far too long. There should have been all hands on deck right after the disaster. A county declared emergency to bring focus, visible communications to reach everyone, and a formal process provided to report damage and status updates to the community. In the middle of the night on September 7th, heavy rains occurred and caused significant property damage over large areas of Cobb County. I've gone around and looked at damage myself, listened to each story, and seen a lot of correspondence sent out by the county denying responsibility. I see some disturbing common patterns. Slide 1, please. As you can see in the photo, there's a shopping center and apartments that were built after the houses downstream. The blue line shows the path of the water. If there were adequate control measures put in place, they were not maintained. This is an example of why a developer should do an impact study up front before the approval instead of dismissing citizens' concerns as just clanging cymbals and loud gongs and then say, don't worry, we'll get it all figured out after you approve it, and the county can make sure we do. So next time you vote, ask yourself, will they really figure it out later? Will it stay figured out? The second issue is widespread bad records. I've seen and heard many cases where there is clear storm infrastructure that is really shared community asset being declared as homeowner asset because the county doesn't have good records in place. Slide 2, please. On the slide at A, the county says they're responsible for the sinkhole under the driveway caused by a junction box that failed. But the hand drawing shows this pipe going halfway through the yard, so the county is giving the homeowner the option of putting half of this back wrong. Yes, the county infrastructure is installed wrong now, with the homeowner paying $25,000 to repair the other part, or the county will leave an open channel that is wrong and that would be in violation of current codes. The subdivision was platted 2 years before the houses were built. The drawing the county has are not as-built drawings. Clearly, these are shared community assets and denial based on preliminary drawings. At B on this slide, the rushing water over the land washed out a storm drain header wall next to a driveway. Now, this is water come rushing from a county infrastructure failure upstream and a lack of controls and failure to maintain controls from commercial development further upstream. The county is denying the repair, saying this is a homeowner-owned infrastructure. The plat doesn't show the as-built construction. But this is really a shared community asset that the homeowners are being asked to fund, and there's nothing to ensure it won't happen again if they do. I've seen this situation play out over and over as I visit around, and I think clear gaps in stormwater management is the lack of as-built drawings and being provided for, and a shared community asset and effective controls being put in place or maintained. Slide 3, please. Further downstream, we see a bridge that was built too low, damming up water and flooding. This happened twice in the last 12 years. The county plans to seems to be hope it doesn't happen again. Next issue, I've talked to people just last week who did not know to file a damage report. The county was not proactive in communication and had 3 methods to file reports. These reports will be used to determine FEMA if FEMA aid is available. We did a records request for the reported properties and circulated a list. Several people who had livable damage to their home did not find their property reported. Inspectors drove down the streets past people who did have reports filed and never came to their property. We in the community have been impacted as a result of the handling of this event. What we see is a bureaucracy that is broke and lacks compassion. We have those brave signs that tell you how long it takes to get to the game. Why couldn't they have said, report your storm damage to www? Isn't that at least as important as the Braves? We're calling for the following actions. Do a full inventory of each drainage ditch and serve multiple properties to each street commercial.
Mr. Wright, Mr. Wright, sorry, your time's up.
Cobb
Mr. Wright, Mr. Wright, I'm sorry, Mr. Wright, time's up.
Thank you.
The next speaker is Denise Cantel.
And I'm sorry, and I don't mean to interject. This is the second time this meeting we've asked speakers not to speak out of turn. And it sounds like a slight thing, but it really undermines the decorum of this meeting. I ask for any additional speaker that comes up here on the microphone to please respect when your time is to speak, when your time has run, and please refrain from speaking out of order. We do our best to be very respectful of the business that's at hand and of every citizen. We ask for you to please do the same. The next speaker may please approach.
Denise Cantel.
Okay, put this first. Okay.
I need the microphone.
I'm just going to give you this.
Good morning. My name is Denise Cantelli. I'm a resident of Terramole Estates. Our neighborhood was platted in 1964. Our home was built in 1967. We're the second owners, having been in our home for over 25 years, and we've never had a flooding issue until September the 7th. Our infrastructure that currently is in place does not meet 2021 demands with all of the new development surrounding us. You can see here, the blue dot is our home. We have multiple major development around us. We have new condos that were built across the street in 2018. All of that is impervious surface. There's very little green space in the area. We have the marketplace at Terrell Mill currently under construction. We had 35 acres of farmland that were cleared for the construction of Brumby Elementary and East Cobb Middle. There is a huge, large stormwater retention pond at the traffic light at Delk Road and Terrell Mill. It does not seem to be maintained. We believe that is where the stormwater came from that affected our home, but are not certain. You can look at the big yellow circle that says retention pond, and you can see the dark the dark line there on the screen that kind of flows down to the blue dot, which is our home. We are the corner lot on Brookview and Pebble Creek, and we have a creek that runs along the back of our property line. The creek runs underneath the public road there at Pebble Creek, and the volume and velocity of water has increased since the completion of the stormwater drainage project over 15 years ago. And this increased volume washes the creek bank and erodes the soil. However, the storm on September the 7th was unprecedented with the volume and velocity. It was quite scary and very dangerous. It rose quickly and it was very destructive. The light of day on the 8th revealed quite a bit of debris, wood fence sections, metal fence sections, silt fences, and we even woke to a large bridge from someone's yard wedged high up between two trees over the creek. These items obstruct the underroad piping system, and this outdated, undersized piping causes the water to pool. It rises more than 15 feet and flows over the public road there at Pebble Creek. It's led to washing of the soil around the telephone pole, the collapse of a stormwater drain from the road there at Brookview into the creek behind our home. And that stormwater drain collapsed and washed out about 6 feet of the bank around it. It is still currently in the creek. It's not been repaired. When Cobb County Erosion Control came out the day after the storm to view the damage, we were pulling the bridge out of our driveway. This is what our creek normally looks like. This is the road from here to here where the stormwater drains are, and the road was completely underwater. That's one side of the house where the corner lot. And then in front of our home, the stormwater drain collapsed into the creek. Thankfully, the water didn't pool there, but it did do damage to the creek. When Cobb County Stormwater Management came out to view the collapsed storm drain, they said that the creek is our responsibility and that they would check the maps regarding the collapsed stormwater drain. They said if it's on their records, they'll fix it and put in a concrete header, but if it doesn't show on their records, it's our responsibility. This was over a week ago, and we haven't heard back. This is an unacceptable answer. I refuse to accept that this is the new normal for our home, our yard. The stormwater is intentionally being funneled onto my property, and it's causing damage and destruction. Our home has a very high elevation from the creek. The county needs to be proactive in dealing with this and not reactive just once there's a problem. Engineering needs to come out and solve the immediate issue of the stormwater buildup in my yard, and then engineering needs to come up with a long-term solution. I refuse to be a retention pond for Cobb County. The drainage system put into place in the 60s is not adequate for 2021, and it needs to be reviewed and corrected. The creek, stream, and other stormwater runoffs cross multiple residential properties and accept water from economically important commercial, industrial, and public resources. These public resources convey public benefits and must bear public responsibility. There is no reason that the county would design infrastructure that relies on a single residential property owner to maintain critical parts of it. The immediate need is relief to fix the acute problems with the stormwater system. People with sinkholes in their yards, flooded residents caused by creeks failing to maintain banks because of upstream issues, and all need relief from a failed system.
Ms. Kebs, I'm sorry, your time is up.
I just want to share, we've had two
Ms. Cantel, I'm sorry.
Yes, I believe emergency management. Is Cassie here?
Oh, you should.
Oh, thank you.
Did you show them?
If I could just ask for you to connect with the speaker here, and presume this is in Commissioner District 2. Okay, if you can connect with the speaker.
The next speaker is Ms. Kebs.
Thank you.
Keb. David Keb.
Okay, our next speaker, please.
Krebs.
Krebs. Oh, Barry Krebs.
Hello. Thank you very much for having me up here to speak for just a brief moment. My name is Barry Krebs. I'm a citizen of District 4, living in Mableton for the past 25 years. I currently serve as a volunteer and appointee for Keep Cobb Beautiful, originally appointed by Commissioner Cupid at the time, and then reappointed by Commissioner Sheffield. I head up the South Cobb Lions Club litter cleanups. We have 8 adopted miles, and we clean up wherever we see a mess. From October 1st, 2020 to September 30th, 2021, our Lions Club has removed 1,025 bags of litter from the roadways. District 4 was rated as one of the cleanest districts in the latest litter index, and I attribute the improved score to our Adopt-A-Mile cleanups that we have in our area. Right now, we have over 75% of the Adopt-A-Miles in the whole county, just in District 4. I'm in touch with Keep Cobb Beautiful, several times a week, and they always do a tremendous job for us, and they're quick to get our bags removed and respond to any questions or concerns. Now, the reason I'm here is I understand that Cobb DOT is looking to take over the litter program from Keep Cobb Beautiful, and I'm here to say that I believe that would be a mistake. Early in my times with the litter cleanups, when we were first getting started, I was dealing directly with Cobb DOT, and while they were all nice and pleasant to work with, I'm pretty sure that litter cleanup, litter bag removal was bottom line and was the bottom of their priority list. We didn't get confirmations when our bags were going to be picked up, or really much communication at all if there was a problem. As you know, Keep Cobb Beautiful has a fantastic executive director and a wonderful staff who are all very talented in their own ways. Keep Cobb Beautiful offers a personal touch that always sends, and they always send confirmations when they're going to pick up the bags, and always also thank us for our service to the community. I think that these touches are important in that keeps our volunteers, lets the volunteers know that they're appreciated, and Keep Cobb Beautiful has the flexibility to meet their needs. On the other hand, I'm very grateful for Cobb DOT and everything they do for our community, but their priorities are going to be road construction, road maintenance, curbing, mowing, tree maintenance, and other important services. But if the litter removal, litter cleanup is placed all upon Cobb DOT, I think it'll be at the bottom of the list of things to get done. So I hope that you will take this into consideration before making any changes, and please, keep the litter cleanup with Keep Cobb Beautiful. One more thing I would like to talk about very quickly is that currently only Cobb DOT and Cobb Parks Department have access to items that are entered over the See-Click Fix app. Okay, I think we all know what the See-Click Fix app is when we're doing litter cleanups, if we see a clogged up drain or graffiti or dumped items that are too heavy for Keep Cobb Beautiful to handle, we send it straight to the See-Click Fix app, and generally Cobb DOT does a pretty good job. There are certain areas where they don't do a good job. I would have to say litter or graffiti removal is one of those areas, and so hopefully we can address that. But if there's find a dead animal during our litter cleanups, they ask us to contact animal control directly. If we and so that, along with a couple other items, I think that Keep Cobb Beautiful and Animal Control should be on the See-Click Fix app software. They're not currently getting notification unless Cobb DOT wants to send it over to them. So, Also, I probably use C-Click Fix app more than anyone else in the county, I would be willing to bet. And I'd be happy to sit on any kind of committees or to give just regular citizen input if they have any questions or anything that we can do. So once again, I appreciate your valuable time and thank you.
Thank you.
Sabrina Zinneman.
Good morning, Chair and excuse me, Commissioners. My name is Sabrina Zinneman, and I am new to Cobb County, and I just want to make you aware of some things that's going on. I'm also an educator, and I'm on the list for the assistance that you approved for Cobb County residents for rental assistance, and I experienced something that was negative from one of the representatives. I was told that in order to get assistance that I should have more children and I should not be living by myself. So that's discrimination, and that was, I filed in June, and now here we are in October and I still don't have any assistance. So I was listening to the lady, she was crying, and I said I didn't want to get emotional because now I may be homeless, an educator homeless. I need assistance as well as anyone with children. I don't knock anybody for getting assistance when you're single with children, married with children, but you're telling me that because I'm single, my daughter is grown, and I'm living alone. I believe COVID affected all of us. It wasn't just a few. So I have an issue with that, and I'm bringing it to your attention. I just want to make you aware of really what's going on. And I feel I'm just appalled about what was told to me. And I just want to make you aware of what's happening to some people. And it happened to me. Other people may not say anything, but I'm bold because I feel like if it's happened to me, it probably happened to someone else. And what has happened also is mentally, because some people are committing suicide because they're not getting assistance, they're not getting what they need. I'm not one of those persons. I believe in loving myself, but everyone's not strong-minded like I am. So I wanted to bring this to your attention, and here it is October and I'm still waiting. And I did give them the proper information. Yes, I'm back at work, but still things were behind because I lost my job. School system closed, and I'm still waiting. So I just want to bring that to your attention. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr.
Christine Rosman.
Good morning, I'm Christine Rosman, Cobb County, and I'm going to spend my time, I wrote a letter to Commissioner Cupid, and I'd like to read that. It was October 6, 2021. Dear Chairman Cupid, I'm writing to address your comments as published in the Marietta Daily Journal in an article dated September 30th, 2021, regarding statements made by public comment and public hearing speakers at the Cobb Board of Commissioners meeting September 28th, 2021. Said speakers spoke in opposition to a unified development code that appeared to be under consideration by the BOC. The MDJ quotes you as saying, statements were made and are too often made that are disparaging innuendos with respect to race, national geography, and origin. These are offensive and will not continue to go unaddressed as they diminish the decorum of our meetings and respectfulness towards our citizenry, end quote. Chairwoman Cupid, on behalf of myself and of several other Cobb County tax-paying residents who participated in public speakers and observers in the September 28th Board of Commissioners meeting, as well as previous BOC meetings attended either in person or online, and with whom I have spoken, the majority feel deeply offended by the comments that you were reported to have made as published in the MDJ. If your comments were reported accurately by the MDJ, we disagree with your statement and the comments made by said speakers are, quote, too often made that are disparaging innuendo with respect to race, national geography, and origin, end quote, you certainly have the right to your opinion regarding your interpretation of said speaker comments, but we do not believe that you have the right to make public statements that may damage the personal reputation of said speakers at Board of Commissioner meetings. Regarding various comments made by speakers in opposition to Unified Development Code, it's also known as Agenda 21-2030, it appeared to some of us that there were two issues that concern you, which were the content and intent of the opposition, as well as the manner in which the opposition was expressed. In that regard, it may be of interest to note that in a Cornell Law School summary of a Supreme Court ruling from New York Times versus Sullivan, 1964, it was stated that the Supreme Court, in an opinion written by Justice William Brennan, reviewed the matter against the background of a profound national commitment to the principle that debate on public issues should be uninhibited, robust, and wide open, and that it may well include vehement, caustic, and sometimes unpleasantly sharp attacks on government and public officials. And it was also stated in said summary that the court put into place a more rigorous standard necessary for sustaining the maintenance of the opportunity for free political discussion, a fundamental principle of our constitutional system that is essential to the security of the republic. As citizens of the United States of America residing in Cobb County, Georgia, and as consistent with the aforementioned Supreme Court ruling, speaker comments are also subject to the First Amendment freedom of speech guarantees, whether or not the presentation style of said comments appeal to the preferred presentation style of the Cobb County Board of Commissioners. Furthermore, an attorney friend of mine who read your quote, as published in the September 30th MDJ article, sent the following short but relevant comment. The First Amendment states, Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press or of the people peaceably to assemble and the petition government for redress.
Ms. Rosman, your time's up.
Thank you.
Mr. Emkin?
My name is Leroy Emkin. I've lived in the state of Georgia for over 60 years and in Cobb County for the last 21 years. I'd like to read a response by Chairwoman Lisa Cooper to Ms. Rosman, who just spoke. Ms. Rosman, per county rules of procedure, I have the responsibility of preserving decorum and order at all meetings. Moreover, after each individual speaker's remarks have concluded, the chair may briefly respond. Furthermore, during our meetings, no person shall be allowed to make impertinent, derogatory, offensive, or slanderous remarks while addressing the commission. No problem with that, of course. Ms. Rosman, please understand speakers do have First Amendment protection during public comment, but not unfettered rights. I'd like to reread the Supreme Court's ruling as summarized by the Cornell Law School summary. The Supreme Court ruling for New York Times versus Sullivan, 1964, it was stated that the Supreme Court, in an opinion written by Justice William Brennan, reviewed the matter against the background of a profound national commitment to the principle that debate on public issues should be uninhibited, robust, and wide open, and that it may well include vehement, caustic, and sometimes unpleasantly sharp attacks on government and public officials. It was amazing to me that Ms. Cupid ignored that Supreme Court ruling in her response to Ms. Rosman. Furthermore, an attorney friend of ours, of both of us, who read Ms. Cupid's quote, made the following comment, and Ms. Rosman did not get a chance to read this. This is a comment by an attorney, a friend of ours, who read Ms. Cupid's quotation in the Marietta Daily Journal, and assuming that was a correct quotation, this is what my attorney friend stated. The individuals speaking at the Cobb Board of Commissioners were exercising their God-given constitutional rights to petition the government regarding a grievance and speak freely thereto. If the Marietta Daily Journal accurately quoted Ms. Cupid, she is using her official position to quelch free speech and stymie future criticism and/or redress against the Board of Commissioners. Again, this is a quote by the attorney. She does this by offhandedly using, quote, race, national geography, and origin, unquote, as the justification. Moreover, the message from Ms. Cupid is that anyone who speaks out against the Board of Commissioners is motivated solely by racism and whatever national geography and origin means. In other words, still quoting, in other words, she uses, quote, innuendo, unquote, which is both without merit and absent fact, as a basis to disregard what was said and ultimately prevent future speech, unquote. This is simply not acceptable. I was disgusted by the response to that gentleman who spoke out, yes, out of turn, and asked by a policeman to remove him from this meeting. This is completely inconsistent with the Supreme Court's ruling, and certainly the comments made by our attorney friend. At least, the courtesy would have been to tell the gentleman, we will pass your comments on to the health department, not to ask a policeman, as if we're a police state, to remove him from this room. We respect the police, but they needed to do what was requested by Ms. Cupid. This is not a police state. That gentleman should have had his comments. The comment should have been to the gentleman, your comments will be passed on to the health board. We are very, very unhappy with the manner in which public speakers and how they're being criticized for speaking out against the Board of Commissioners. We have the right to speak out. We have the right by the Supreme Court to speak out in an uninhibited, robust, and wide open way, and that it may well include vehement, caustic, and sometimes unpleasantly sharp attacks on government and public officials. This has nothing to do with decorum. Decorum does not allow the Board of Commissioners or Ms. Cupid to say you may not speak out in such a robust manner. We have the right to do it as confirmed by the United States Supreme Court in the ruling associated with New York Times versus Sullivan, 1964. Look it up. Thank you.
Chairwoman, that concludes speakers for the first portion of this morning's meeting.
Before we go to the consent agenda, I will address some of the statements made, because I certainly don't think it's clear what our rules of procedure are once you come into the Board of Commissioners room. So I will make it very clear. We've asked our county attorney to do this before public comment. I will also make it clear. The chairman shall have the same rights and privileges of other commissioners with respect to to rights to make motions, debate, and vote. Additionally, his or her duties during meetings shall include Section D, preserving decorum and order at all meetings. When people speak out of turn, that does not preserve decorum and order. Therefore, I am exerting my ability under Section 1.03 as chairwoman to preserve decorum and order at this meeting. I'm sorry if some people don't like that policy, but that is our policy. Moreover, excuse me, I'm scrolling through this. Again, as was stated by Ms. Rosman, and I'll state here that per Section 1.09 of public participation in board meetings, no person shall be allowed to make impertinent, derogatory, offensive, or slanderous remarks while addressing the commission. A person may be barred from further speaking before the commission in that meeting if his or her conduct is deemed out of order. A person once barred for improper conduct shall not be permitted to continue or again address the commission in that meeting unless a majority of the commission allows. In the event that the speaker is barred fails to obey the ruling, the chair may take such action as is deemed appropriate, including the removal of such person from the assembly. The commission may bar a person from commission meetings for up to 60 days for improper conduct. A person barred from the commission for this period may request a hearing by written request to the chair stating the reasons for a reversal of the decision. The hearing shall be placed on the agenda and heard by the commission. If they want to return, there should be a 4/5 vote of the entire board to overturn the previous decision. I state that so it's very clear that our rules of procedure, dating far before when I became chairwoman, speak to the decorum and preservation of order of this meeting of which I am responsible for. I will continue to preserve decorum and order if that includes removing someone who speaks up out of turn during a business meeting. People keep saying they want this county to run like a business. That is what we're doing. This county has a budget of $1 billion to manage the affairs of over 750,000 people, several businesses in this county. We ask for your support to help us run this county like a business. Some of you who come to our meetings know what it's like to be professionals. We are a highly educated professional county. You know what you would have tolerated in your meetings, in your classrooms, in your boardrooms. So I don't know why when people step in this room, they have amnesia. This is a county meeting of which we facilitate an ability for people to have public comment. Public comment is very important to us. It enables us to be responsive to the public. We will not allow mayhem to be the spirit of this meeting. We want to listen, we want to serve. Every meeting, if we have to continue to go over these rules for people to understand what they are, so be it. But I will not allow for the decorum of this meeting to be undermined, meeting after meeting. Even if I state that, you can come and speak. There are 5 minutes for anyone to address matters of the public. But referring to your Supreme Court ruling, it pertains to comments made with respect to the board, with respect to elected officials. And when I'm speaking of offensive comments, slanderous comments, impertinent comments, it pertains to the citizens in this room. I had people here from Cobb 101, a very diverse class, and I was embarrassed. Some of them I know who are of different nationalities, and there were statements made. And my God, my heart hurt. My heart hurt for these young people in this room. Nobody stopped anybody from stating those comments. But what I did say during that meeting, as I said, please make sure that people know those are not reflective of this board. That's not reflective of this leadership. Please let the public know. That is where I'm coming from when I made my statements to the press, when I responded to the email, and that will be my approach at this meeting. We will move on to consent. At the beginning of this meeting and at the end of all of our meetings, items from consent agenda are scrolled for the public to see. We vote on these items in bank. There have been modifications made to this consent agenda to withdraw items 24 and number 25. Therefore, I make a motion that we approve the consent agenda as revised and authorize execution of the necessary documents by the appropriate county personnel. Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion on consent? I'll call the question. The motion carries 5-0. Thank you, Commissioners. We will now move on to the regular agenda of our meeting. The first, excuse me. I see you up here. Oh, excuse me, 1 second, Drew. Yes. Moving on to transportation.
Good morning, Chairwoman, Commissioners, County Manager. Drew Essler with Cobb DOT. We have 5 items for consideration this morning. Our first item is to recommend the Board of Commissioners convey by quitclaim deed to the Georgia Department of Transportation the right-of-way on one county-owned parcel, tax parcel number 16071800010 for construction of South Barrett Reliever Phase 3, Cobb County Project X2407.
That's me.
Thank you. Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion carries 5-0. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next item is to recommend the Board of Commissioners approve project number X2327, task order number 1 to the 2020 Master Task Order Contract with Friesen Nichols Incorporated in an amount not to exceed $60,100 for preliminary engineering design of intersection improvements on Oakdale Road at Buckner Road. Authorize the corresponding budget transaction and further authorize the chairwoman to execute the necessary documents.
Commissioner Sheffield.
So moved.
Any discussion? Call the question. The motion carries 5-0. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next item is to recommend the Board of Commissioners ratify previous action by the county manager authorizing emergency repairs on Willow Ridge Drive in response to a sinkhole. Approve project number D2863 to the 2021 countywide unit price contract with Gracie Gray Contractors Incorporated in an amount not to exceed $155,614.10 for said repairs, and authorize the corresponding budget transactions.
Commissioner Richardson.
So moved.
Any discussion? Call the question. The motion carries 5-0.
Thank you. Our next item is to recommend the Board of Commissioners ratify previous action by the county manager authorizing emergency repairs on Lands Mill in response to sinkholes. Approve project number D2865 to the 2021 countywide unit price contract with Chatfield Contracting Incorporated in an amount not to exceed $298,575 for said repairs, and authorize the corresponding budget transactions.
Commissioner Richardson.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? I'll call the question. The motion carries 5-0.
Thank you. And our final item is to recommend the Board of Commissioners ratify previous action by the county manager authorizing emergency repairs on Green Valley Road in response to sinkholes. Approve project number D2864 to the 2021 countywide unit price contract with Butch Thompson Enterprises Incorporated in an amount not to exceed $207,663 for said repairs, and authorize the corresponding budget transactions.
Commissioner Sheffield.
So moved.
Any discussion? I'll call the question. The motion carries 5-0.
Thank you.
Thank you, Drew. Next, moving on to the Parks tab.
Good morning, Chairwoman, Commissioners, County Manager. We have several items for consideration this morning. Our first item is to authorize the advertisement for and conduct of a public hearing prior to expending more than $100,000 for design and construction administration services for the Osborne Area Recreation Community Center, and further authorize the issuance of a request for proposals to secure these services utilizing Selection Process 1.
All right, Commissioner Sheffield.
So moved.
Any discussion? Just excited to see this move forward, Commissioner. Yeah. I'll call the question. The motion carries 5-0.
Our second item today is to approve change order number 1 final to the contract with Bartow Paving Company for construction services related to installation of additional vehicle parking at Harrison Park, representing a total credit of $25,000. Authorize the corresponding budget transaction, and further authorize the chairwoman to execute the necessary documents.
Commissioner Gambrill. Excuse me, I'm sorry. Sorry, Commissioner, I'm one.
Much needed additional parking at Harrison.
Yes, ma'am.
Park. Motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? I'll call the question. All right, motion carries 5-0.
Our third item is to approve a contract with Lichty Commercial Construction for construction services related to historic preservation at Nesbitt Union Chapel in an amount not to exceed $176,332 under the 2016 Park Splash Program. Authorize the corresponding budget transaction, and further authorize the chairwoman to execute the necessary documents.
Now, Commissioner Gambrill.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? We'll call the question. All right, the motion carries 5-0.
Our fourth item today is to approve a contract with Advanced Sports Group, LLC, in an amount not to exceed $2,128,366.07 to supply labor, equipment, and materials associated with conversion of athletic fields to synthetic turf at Terrell Mill Park under the 2016 Park Splash Program. Authorize the corresponding budget transactions, and further authorize the chairwoman to execute the necessary documents.
Commissioner Richardson.
So moved.
Is there a second? Second. Any discussion? As a soccer mom, I'm greatly appreciative.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. All right, call the question. All right, the motion carries 5-0.
And our final item today is to approve a contract with All-Star Lighting and Electrical Services in an amount not to exceed $323,718 to supply labor, equipment, and materials to relocate subsurface electrical wiring and athletic field poles and install new LED lighting fixtures associated with the conversion of the athletic fields to synthetic turf at Terrell Mill Park under the 2016 Park Splash Program. Authorize the corresponding budget transactions, and further authorize the chairwoman to execute the necessary documents.
Commissioner Richardson.
So moved.
Is there a second? All right, any discussion? We'll call the question. Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. All All right, next up, we have support services.
Good morning,
Scott.
Chairwoman, Commissioners, County Manager. Property Management has 3 items. Our first is the Board of Commissioners to approve a contract with MaxAir Mechanical in the amount of $120,295 for the purchase and installation of the HVAC equipment for the build-out of Courtroom 12 at Superior Court located at 70 Haynes Street, Marietta, and authorize the corresponding budget transactions.
Commissioner Burrow.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Call the question. The motion carries 5-0.
All right, thank you. Our second item is the Board of Commissioners approve supplemental agreement number 2 to the contract with Garland DVS Incorporated in a deductive amount of $5,553.18 for the work related to the installation of the new roof and exterior wall restoration at Schweitzer Library, a 2016 SPLOST Program X0510. Authorize a corresponding budget transaction and further authorize the chairwoman to execute the necessary documents.
Commissioner Burrow.
Motion to approve.
Second. Any discussion? We'll call the question. The motion carries 5-0.
All right, thank you. Our last item is the Board of Commissioners approve supplemental agreement number 5 to the contract with Catamount Constructors Incorporated in the amount of $474,260 for grading and paving at the new Fleet Car Service Facility, a 2016 SPLOST Program X0911. Authorizes corresponding budget transaction and further authorizes the chairwoman to execute the necessary documents.
Commissioner Gambrell.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? We'll call the question. The motion carries 5-0.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Chairwoman, we have one speaker signed up for the conclusion portion of public comment. Patricia Hay.
Okay.
My name is Patricia Hay, and I live in Mapleton, District 4. And I'm not here to attack anybody, but a lot of things came up. I wish the people that had the flooding could have some of my time, because I think what they were saying was really important. I'll begin by that, because that's just how I feel. I feel because I'm a U.S. citizen, that it's my duty to question you and comment. I'm sorry I say a lot, because I'm not a really good public speaker. I will apologize. But I wanted to speak about zoning and this new 2040 thing. And I wanted to ask questions and make comments and beg you to consider such things as like high-density development and the flooding that happens and the effect it's going to have on our people. And as a resident of Cobb County, I moved here because it was a more suburban county, it was more rural. And if we bring high density in, we're going to lose that, and we're going to have more flooding, we're going to have more traffic. I mean, I had everything written out, but I'm just kind of speaking from the heart. And do we have the infrastructure to take care of all these people that all this high density will bring in? Do we have the roads? Do we have the water? Do we have the schools? Do we have the police? Are we sure we're not going to flood? I mean, when it rains, I worry about flooding in South Cobb. I've had problems with flooding. But like I say, these people are more recent. And also, I wanted to comment, I guess that's all I wanted to say about zoning. I mean, I've got a lot of stuff written, but I'm just speaking off the cuff. I wanted to comment on the lady from Cobb, the Cobb Health Department, since it wasn't what I said I was going to speak about, but I want to speak from the heart, okay? My problem with Cobb County Health Department is they don't talk about anything but the vaccinations. They don't talk about prevention. They don't talk about getting your vitamin D level up, your C level, taking quercetin, getting out in the sunshine, exercising, losing weight. All they talk about is the vaccine. And I feel like that's disservice to our citizens, okay? Because I really feel like we need to get more healthy, and there's better ways than just taking a vaccine. And the man was right. There is a lot of deaths. Just go to openVAERS.com, and you will see there's deaths, there's injuries, but our media is not telling us about that. So I just have to say that. And I appreciate your time, and I appreciate you letting me speak, because I feel like it's our duty as citizens to speak out and ask questions. And I'm not attacking you, but I just feel like, please consider these people with their flooding. We don't want more flooding. You know, we live here, and if you keep these high-density developments, what's going to happen to us? You know, like the first gentleman said, they say they're going to take care of it, but then, oh, it's Cobb County's problem. I came to a zoning thing, and they said, oh, it's basically Cobb County's problem. Well, it's just going to be the homeowner's problem that gets their property flooded. So I'm not attacking anybody, but I think these issues really need to be addressed. And as a citizen, I feel like it's my duty to do that. And also, I want everybody to know that I support the Constitution and the Bill of Rights and feel like everybody should not be discriminated against. But thank you for your time, and that's all I've got.
Thank you.
Chairwoman, that concludes the second portion of the public comment.
Thank you, Bill. We have 2 appointments to be made. The first one is through Commissioner Sheffield's office.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I announce the reappointment of James Darden to the Transit System Advisory Board.
Thank you, Commissioner. The next one is with Commissioner Gambrill.
Richardson.
Oh, excuse me, I'm sorry, Commissioner Richardson.
Flattered. To announce the appointment of Renee Jones to the Neighborhood Safety Commission.
Thank you. I might need to update these. Thank you. All right, that brings us finally to the Commissioner's public address. We will begin with Commissioner Gambrill.
Thank you. On Saturday, October 23rd, from 4 to 8 p.m., dress up and hop in your car with the kiddos for this year's Cobb County Parks Fall Festival of Fun 2021. It will be drive-through style again at Jim Miller Park Event Center, which is on Callaway Road in Marietta. Wear your costumes and bring your goodie bags for drive-through treats and entertainment. Our Cobb County Animal Services will host an adopt-a-thon on-site at 1060 Al Bishop Drive on October 21st, 22nd, and 23rd from 11 to 3 p.m. each day. The Animal Services trailer will feature pets for free adoptions, and no appointment is necessary during these scheduled event times. Help us choose the best decorated pumpkin submitted by our county departments. Voting is now open through October 25th, and the winner will be announced at our Board of Commissioners meeting on Tuesday, October 26th. You can visit safepath.org and click Donate Now in the top right-hand corner. Enter your information and a donation, and then in the area of In the Honor Of, put the number or name of the pumpkin you think looks the best. Remember, each dollar donated is one vote. All proceeds will benefit Safe Path Children's Advocacy Center. And lastly, join us this coming Saturday, October 16th, for Gambrill's Great Pumpkin Day at Still Family Farms. The event will be held from 10 to 7 p.m. and features hayride, pumpkin patch, a zinnia flower maze, face painting, dump truck races, food, and more. Our public safety representatives will also be there to so you can get an up-close and personal time with our officers to ask questions about the equipment they use to help keep us safe. A special offer of $2 off per admission with a donation of a boy's size 5 to 12 clothes, toilet paper, face mask, and teens clothing for both boys and girls. All items will again be donated to Safe Path Organization. The Still Family Farm entrance is at 5682 Macklin Road in Powder Springs. For more information about the event, you can visit stillfamilyfarms.com, and we look forward to seeing you then. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Richardson?
Thank you. Congratulations to the Braves. They made it to the playoffs, and they played their third game yesterday and won. They've won 2 out of 3 games, and we wish them luck today at Game 4 against the Milwaukee Brewers. Next. So from the office, flooding aftermath, as some of you may or may not know, stormwater management has been one of the focuses that I've had since the beginning of the year. We know that there are a lot of issues, but there are some gaps in terms of how we look at it, how we perceive it, and they became even more evident with the latest flooding issue. As you know, there are a lot of different challenges that came up with this particular incident, but what we are doing is hosting a town hall this Thursday, and we'll have some special guests as well in attendance who are also listening in. We know it's a multi-layered issue, and certainly if you're a homeowner that was affected, I highly encourage you to attend, but to encourage your neighbors to attend as well. The goal of this is to distribute some more information, but to also hear some of the different use cases, different experiences that are out there, because while there are a lot of consistencies, there are some nuances to different parcels. So I'm hoping to really get that out and to also have a really good conversation about how we want to proceed in the future and how we can help prepare for some of the changing tides that we have with nature. Onward. Neighborhood Safety Commission appointment. You heard me make that appointment. I'd like to introduce you to our newest Neighborhood Safety Commissioner, Renee Jones. She's a security risk management analyst and has an extensive background in information security. She's going to be offering her expertise on this subject to the residents of Cobb County through her new appointment. Next, from the community, we've got the bullying awareness. Slide, there we go. Bullying Awareness and Prevention webinar. So in honor of National Bullying Prevention Awareness Month, join the Federal School Safety Clearinghouse on October 26th at 3 p.m. for an informational webinar on bullying awareness and prevention resources, tactics, and strategies to create safer school environments. The session will feature guest speaker and bullying prevention expert Melissa Mercado Crespo from the CDC and Prevention's Division of Violence Prevention. She will provide an overview of what bullying is and how to identify it, key strategies and actions schools and school personnel can implement to prevent and address it, and the tools and resources available from the government to support schools in these efforts. Scan the QR code or visit schoolsafety.gov to register for the event. And Read, Think, Talk, Sewell Mill Library Book Discussion Group. Read, Think, Talk, the Sewell Mill Library and Cultural Center Book Discussion Group meets each month on the third Wednesday. Newcomers are always welcome. This month's title, The Plot, Fiction in 2021, by Jean Han Korelitz. In this book, it's a psychologically suspenseful novel about a story too good not to steal, and the writer who steals it. Register to join using the QR code or visit the Cobb County events page. And that concludes my comments.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Burrow.
Thank you. Last Wednesday was a very sad day for us and for the Cobb County Police and Canine Unit, as we lost Axel due to a medical issue. He served the police department honorably. Please keep Officer Johnson, his handler, and his family and the Canine Unit in your prayers. Canine Axel joined the department on January 6, 2014, and served as a patrol narcotics canine with his handler, Officer Johnson. Axel was deployed approximately 600 times to search for narcotics, violent suspects, and items of evidence. During his years of service, he tracked and located 29 suspects that fled from crimes. Axel also sniffed and located over 277 pounds of narcotics with a street value of $1.3 million. And he seized approximately $100,000 in narcotics proceeds. We will miss you, Axel, End of watch 10/6/21. And it hurts my heart to announce that. On a upbeat note, we cut the ribbon at our new police headquarters. This has been long overdue as we had units in various parts of the county and precincts, and now we have the room to house them all at the old LGE building at 545 Fairground Street. So a big thank you to the community, as this was done with SPLOST dollars, our elected officials, the county staff, and all who helped this project come to life. Congratulations, the Lady Jackets. Sprayberry Gold Metro won the championship for school varsity fast pitch softball. And for the first time in school history, the Sprayberry Gold team are champs. These 8th graders were amazing, and the younger girls had to play positions they had never played before. Pitching was on point. Gracie, Lily Mae, and Macy and Lila were tough as nails. EK, Haley, Kelly, and Bella locked down the outfield. These girls are champs, and nobody can take that away from them. Thanks to the coaches, Mike, Steve, and George, for your help. Way to go, Lady Jackets. And if you look in the top left corner is the daughter of one of our own, John Peterson, our zoning director. That is Gracie. The top left corner, that's Gracie. So congratulations, Lady Jackets. It hurts to say jackets. I'm
It should feel
teasing.
really good.
I said that for your benefit, Madam Chair. Everybody knows I'm a Tar Heel. It's okay. I know this was already reported, but for 3 days this month, October 21st, 22nd, and 23rd, the trailer, the Animal Services trailer will be on site at Animal Services at the shelter on Al Bishop, and you can come take home your new best friend. Free adoptions. And most of y'all are aware of the Superior Pets for Patriotic Vets program. This is Fiona, and she was adopted our number 198. So thank you to Superior Plumbing for your donations to make this available for our veterans, and also to the Cobb County Animal Shelter for partnering with them to find forever homes for our veterans. I'm sorry, Mr. Loy was who adopted Fiona. He served the U.S. Army and supported this program by giving her a home. She's a beautiful white and tan Siberian Husky. And you heard about Diaper Day. You can deliver to Cobb EMC Solar Garden tomorrow and Saturday, the 27th, I believe. I'm not sure if I have the... but you can go to cobbdiaperday.com for more information, or you can have them shipped directly to Diaper Day. Next slide. November 6th, Cobb County, along with the Georgia Department of Veterans Affairs Services and U.S. Veterans Affairs, will be hosting an event at Jim Miller Park Event Center to honor all women veterans. The event is free, and we have some great speakers from all the different wars and eras that we'd love for people to come out and hear. It is free, but you do need to register so that we have a head count, and We also, Cobb Douglas Public Health will be offering vaccines that day as well. So come join us. And then for all these events and activities will be in my newsletter, and you can contact me or my assistant for additional information. And last but not least, go Braves.
All right, thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Sheffield?
Thank you, Madam Chair. District 4 news and updates. October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month and is an annual international health campaign organized by major breast cancer charities to increase awareness of the disease and to raise funds for research into its cause, prevention, diagnosis, treatment, and cure. Breast cancer is a disease that affects both men and women and is among the most common cancers. Whether you or someone you love has cancer, knowing what to expect can help you cope. To find out more about breast cancer and prevention, please visit cancer.org. Thank you to Helen Riley for the invitation to join her Never Left Behind Fall Festival. The outdoor event was presented by One Love, One God, One Nation, Safe Place, and Hard Knocks Barbershop, and it was packed with food, refreshments, and family fun. Some of the vendors included a local cosmetology school, Chattahoochee Tech, and the Happy Mama, Happy Minnie nonprofit organization. The nonprofit provides support to survivors of domestic violence. Thanks to some chorusing from Deidre, I had the opportunity to get on the chiropractic table and get my spine adjusted. Again, thanks to Helen Riley for organizing the event and for her love of community. This past weekend marked the annual celebration of the Faith in Blue partnership between law enforcement and faith-based organizations. I was especially excited to visit Osborne High School and see the smiles on the faces of the athletic teams as they interacted with our law enforcement community partners. A special thanks to Cobb County Police and the Sheriff's Office for providing food to our growing teenagers. Communities are stronger and safer when residents and law enforcement professionals can relate as ordinary people with shared values, hopes, and dreams. Your continued engagement in our community is greatly appreciated. Join Cobb DOT, myself, District 4 residents, and Keep Cobb Beautiful appointees this coming Saturday, October 16th at 8:45 to beautify Austell and South Marietta. Our community stakeholders and volunteers will meet at 8:45 a.m. at the Cobb County Public Safety Academy located at 2435 East-West Connector in Austell. We will beautify the East-West Connector from Powder Springs Road to Floyd Road. Please join us in being a part of the solution to keep Cobb beautiful. I will be at the Dunkin' Donuts just a few doors down at 8 a.m. If you'd like to join me for a cup of coffee before we get started, it will be my treat. Join the Mableton birder and author Andrew Baxter and members of the Riverline Historic Area to receive hands-on experience installing a birdhouse designed for the brown-headed nuthatch. The event will take place on Saturday, October 23rd from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. at the Henderson Road Historic Nature Preserve at Nickajack Creek, which is located at 1101 Veterans Memorial Highway in Mableton. Due to the wooded terrain, bird enthusiasts must be over 7 years of age to participate. Please RSVP to riverlinega@gmail.com no later than Thursday, October 21st. And that concludes my comments. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Just briefly, early voting has kicked off today. If you would like to get to the polls before Election Day, you can go to one of our advanced voting sites here in Cobb County, and you can find out what those sites are at cobbelections.org. Lastly, just want to share that we lost a giant in our community, Howard Kepka. Over the pandemic, we've had a food fleet in partnership with Cobb Community Foundation, a number of churches and organizations throughout the county. and also with the Braves. And they distributed food to so many of our families and children in need. And the organizer of that passed away. And I wish I remembered this at the top of our meeting, but if you can indulge me, for those who are here, we could please have a moment of silence for Howard. Thank you. Life is so short. Just let's do the best we can every day and just savor the time that we have and with each other. This man was here today, just not too long ago, and life is short. Savor the moments you have. Have a good rest of your day.